Hello and welcome to episode 53 of Crochet Moments. I'm Helen and I like to knit and crochet and talk about all things yarn, and I live in Leicester with my long-suffering husband Siren and my two pains in the butts, Katherine and Emily. They're my two daughters who do sometimes appear on my channel. Emily is currently having her bath time, or well, we're calling it a bower, because to try and save energy, we're not running a bath for her. We're letting her have a shower, but with the plug-in, so she can still sit in the water and splash. And Katherine is hiding upstairs with her nose in a book because she loves to read, and we bought her some more books today, so she's keen to get some more of her books finished to start the new ones. So obviously this is mostly, I talk about my yarny adventures. I do occasionally put in blogs and vlogs with some of the trips. I do wish I'd vlogged today. We had a fantastic day trip today. So I normally film on a Friday evening, but Katherine was very, very eager to watch a new movie on Netflix that's based on a series of books that she has read, which is The School for Good and Evil. Now the books are quite good. The movie, in my opinion, not as good as the books, but she enjoyed it. If you haven't read the books, I think you'd probably enjoy it. You would, because we spent half the movie going, well, it didn't happen like that in the books. That wasn't in the books. And I think you get that with anything, don't you, really, that you watch that's based on a book. So yes, today, as a little treat for the girls, to get them out and about, because it's been a shocking week of weather with us. We've had quite a lot of rain. It's not been great weather, and it's been their half term, so they haven't had a lot of getting out and about time. So we thought that we'd take them out somewhere. Now we were going to go to the RAF Cosford Autumn Fair, but we discovered that the National Trust Country House at Sudbury was reopening this weekend. It was their grand reopening, and they have styled it the Children's Country House, and it was amazing. It was brilliant. The girls really engaged with everything, because it wasn't, the whole way around wasn't, don't touch that, don't stand there. There was, in the long picture gallery, children were allowed to just run. They were, big space, they can run. There were toy boxes, there were books. In the library, there were shelves of books that the children were allowed to handle. It was amazing. And they had a escape room experience, which was part of the entry. Now, we're National Trust members, so it was free for us for the whole day, other than lunch, which was lovely. And what else did we do while we were there? So they had the upstairs experience, the downstairs experience in the kitchens, the escape rooms. They had games out on the grass. They had an arts and craft thing, so you pay £2 and they can do as much arts and crafts as they want, and they can keep coming and going throughout the day. They only sat down for about half an hour, 45 minutes to do some crafts. So I got to see some knitting. And so it was just a really great day. We were there, well, we got there for a little after 10 and we left at about 3:30. So for us, that's a pretty good day out, particularly for National Trust, because sometimes we do end up going quite quickly around everything because the girls just aren't interacting terribly well. But so that's that. I don't know why, but I'm looking at myself on the TV screen behind the camera and it looks a little bit fuzzy. So if I am out of focus, I do apologise. You probably would appreciate that, because this week I've had an awful cold, which has resulted in a bit of a sore on my nostril. So it's not attractive at all. So what have I been up to other than feeling poorly? I've been very busy at work. I'm finally at a position where I can say I'm about caught up. We've had so much sickness at work. It's just everything's sort of snowballed. One person was sick, then 2 people were sick, then I was sick. Luckily, I didn't get as poorly as the other ladies, but I was a bit worried. We've had Catherine's birthday party, so you can't actually see, but the balloons are still up. I did share on my Instagram. You can just about see the shadow above my head. I did share on my Instagram a picture of the balloons as we got them. I bought it from Sainsbury's. It's a Habitat balloon garland, and it cost about £2.50, £3. It was in a reduced to clear shelf, and we just had a load of stuff off there for the party. So yes, she had some friends sleep over. They apparently stayed up to about 1 in the morning. We didn't hear them, so luckily they weren't loud. And they just played board games and chatted until they were falling asleep, I think. So Katherine is now 12. She's almost a teenager. I'm not looking forward to Katherine as a teenager, because Katherine as a preteen is pretty scary at the moment. She was late going to bed last night, and for most of this morning she was in a grump because I'd woken her up at 20 to 8 to get ready, to get up and get ready to go out for our day trip. So yeah, that was an experience. So anyway, you're not here to hear about what I've been to outside of my crafting life. You've come to see me and my knitting and crochet, which has not been much, I must confess. Between birthdays and not feeling very well, I haven't had a whole bunch of time to do stuff, to get any crafting done. I have got some done though. I was supposed to work on my tree skirt earlier this week, but the cold I had was one of those colds that gets into your head. I just did not trust myself with all the cables and the beads. I am going to go wrong. So I got out my Joe Piccalilli bag. There's a little label there. I don't think you can see it. It's really hard to tell because it's blurring out on my screen. I'm just seeing zebra stripes. So I have no idea what you're seeing on there, but this has got all these lovely cats on, and I love it. But I did some more work on Simon's double knit socks. So this is a sock set that I bought at Bakewell 2 weeks ago. It's by Pippin Yarns. And thank you, Silka, was it Silka? For, I think it was, messaged me on Instagram as a DM to tell me that that is actually most likely one of a kind. I was like, was it Uoak? No, it's one of a kind. So, but yeah, so I thought I'd give double knit socks a try when I was at Bakewell. So, living in my needle cozy. This is also by Joe Piccalilli. Hang on, there's a sock in the way. She does have an Etsy shop. I'll try and remember to link her below. She does have quite regular updates. Plus, I think she may be a primary school teacher or a preschool teacher, because some of the things that she has in there are for young children as well, so little playthings. But this is how much I've got done. There's loads. Now, obviously, this isn't hours and hours and hours of work. So last time I showed you was all I'd done in the car on the way home from Bakewell, which I think I was about there. And I think in the car today, I did about that much in the car today. So all of the rest of that, the heel and everything else, is just a couple of nights, just half an hour, 45 minutes before I was ready to go to bed. It's This is working up so quickly. Double knit socks is definitely the way to go when your husband has big feet. But yes, I'm loving the colours. I'm getting quite, just over halfway on the foot now. Actually, am I? I think I need to go to 22 centimetres and I'm on 14 centimetres. It's a Saturday evening. I'm about to pour myself a gin and tonic. I don't have the headspace for that maths. I've just been trying to help Katherine with some of her maths homework. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know that one. But yeah, so like I said, I am really enjoying working on these. Just because they're completely mindless knitting, even with the heel flap and the gusset, because I've done that process a few times now. I don't really need to think about it all that much. I was considering putting in a contrast heel as well, but I'm a bit wary about how much yarn I'm going to have, so I'm just going to do the cuff and the toe for the contrast. I just love this yarn. It's working up a dream. I am using 3.5mm DPNs. I'm not sure if I might go down a size or two. So on my fingering weight socks, I use a 2.25. And I like the fabric of that, but I do like the fabric for this. I just find maybe it's a little loose. I'm not sure. So there's the tension there. Just look at those colours. Just love these colours. And I'm at the point I can decide to keep them for myself if I wanted. But no, I promised Simon another pair of socks because poor Simon has to work at home. And I'm not letting him put the heating on. So it's not that it's got that cold. I'm wearing my cardigan just because in the evenings it does feel a little chilly. But we've had a very mild day today. I wore this just walking around outside and didn't feel like I needed anything else. And I have a short sleeved t-shirt on underneath. It's not a long sleeved top at all. So that's that sock. So I've also been working today on Katherine's rainbow socks. I basically took them to the point that I need to be able to concentrate on them. So until I get the heel done on this sock, this isn't going to be out and about socks. So I do need to get the heel done ASAP. Right, so let's show you sock number 1, because sock number 1 is finished. So there's sock number 1. So this is the West Yorkshire Spinners Special 4-ply, and it's not Special 4-ply, Signature 4-ply. Stylecraft do Special. West Yorkshire Spinners is Signature, and it's Rum Paradise. So I am using up the remainder of a ball that I bought to make Emily's pair of rainbow socks, which she still wears even though they're a little small for her now. And I really enjoy working with this yarn. And all I'm doing, I'm not measuring, I'm just going by stripes. So, and this is my first attempt at toe up, which, if I'm honest, while I found the process of learning very good, I enjoyed doing it, I think I might stick to cuff down unless I have a pattern that is specifically toe up, or I have a very limited amount of yarn and I want to limit how long the leg is so that I have enough to do the foot. The contrast, for me, I wouldn't have chosen this colour, but Katherine chose it out of my minis, and it is a mini from Dinah's Home of Crafts. So I did used to have a mini skein subscription with her, and I've got loads of this left. So this will be going into my blanket ball box when I'm done with it. And it's already balled up, so that's a bonus. So yeah, so toe up, that's the first sock that is finished. And this is basically the foot of the second sock. So again, this is another Piccalilli needle minder. Notice, look how cute it is. Both of these were picked by Emily. This one was from Bakewell last year, and the other one, the Halloweeny one, was Bakewell this year. Now I am using Knit Pro Symphony needles, which are quite scary to use when you're out and about because they, at 2.25 and wood, they don't feel terribly substantial. But I am using them, and so far, touch wood, I haven't broken one. They do come with an extra one in the pack, so I wonder if that's sort of like a safeguard that they have. So here is the sock. So far it's just the foot, and oh, I should point out my stitch markers. Actually, I'm using some of my Progress Keepers that I've got from some of Andy at Attic Spin Dye Yarn. So this one is by Alice, from one of my Alice in Wonderland yarns. I haven't used any of those yet, and I'm dying to, so the colours are amazing. And I got my dispatch notice from Etsy today to say that part 1 of the Beatrix Potter subscription's on its way. Can't wait to see that. I'm so excited. And yeah, so this one is the key that came with, as it was then, it was called the Lord Veterinary yarn. It's now Dark Bidding, and that is the yarn that I made Simon's other pair of socks out of, if you remember. So yes, working on some socks. Lots of sock knitting this last fortnight, and I think it's just because it is mindless, because they're just vanilla. I don't have to think about what I'm doing, and especially while I've been poorly and I've not really been able to focus on anything, it's really good. Really good and therapeutic knitting, because I've needed to knit. I've had so much stress at work, and some people will come home and pour a glass of wine. My make myself feel better is come home, pick up some crochet, pick up some knitting, and just while away half an hour. And if I'm late getting home from work and I have to come in, get changed and get straight onto cooking dinner, I find my mood is very different. So for example, today we've been out all day, but I've been crafting while I'm out, and I've come home, dinner's gone in the oven, but then I've been able to sit and crochet for half an hour while dinner is cooking, and it just gives me a boost. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if that's the same for you. It is my mental health sort of sticky plaster. If I am feeling particularly rough, I find that if I just take something upstairs, sit in my room, I'll stick a podcast on my YouTube, it's just me in the room, and half an hour is all I need of uninterrupted peace and quiet and knitting or crochet, and I'm there, blissed out. Who needs alcohol? Me. I'll be pouring myself one in a minute. But no, so it is so everybody has their own way of unwinding, and my crafting has definitely come in handy the last few weeks so with that I've been through at work. But while I'm on the subject of work, I might be up for a promotion. So we've had somebody, unfortunately, on long-term sick. We miss her terribly. But it's starting to look like she may not return to work. So that will potentially leave her position open. So and I know I have been told that if that happens, I may be considered for the position. So while I really would like to see my colleague back at work because she's got the most wicked sense of humour and we all love her terribly, but at the same time just the prospect of a promotion is quite exciting. So I feel terrible. I really do feel terrible, but excited because I'm so excited at the idea, because I consider my colleague a friend as well. But I don't know. Anyway, that's enough wittering on about work. You're not here to listen to me wittering on about stuff like that. Okay, back onto my projects. So my morning knitting has started to move along a little bit more now. So my mystery knit along and mystery crochet along. Now the crochet along has not been worked on yet. I am a month behind at the moment, although I think part 10 is due out probably this coming week. So I'm almost 2 months behind on this, but I am almost up to date with the knit along, which is Perseverance, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I love this blanket. I just wish I'd thought more about the colours. Now both of these projects are just for using up scraps of yarn, so I am getting to the end of a ball before I'm supposed to change colour, so I'm just carrying on or picking another colour halfway through. It is what it is, but I have started reducing. There's a corner and there's a corner. So this is the full length of the blanket. Ooh. And have I got it the right way? Yes, I have. Oh, no. Oh, no, don't you dare. I'm dropping stitches, that's not good. Come on. Whew. Disaster averted. But yes, it's worked diagonally, so you start down with just a few stitches in this corner and you work up, and it's repeating the patterns now. So I am on, oh that's the wrong side. I'm now repeating this section here of, I think it's a sort of form of broken rib. My counts are better up here than they were down here, because I did, if you can see, I did have to do a solid row of stocking stitch there to get myself back up to count and back on track with the pattern, because I just lost track completely and I just couldn't get myself back on track, which was a bit bizarre. So yeah, so I've got the lace. Hang on. Yeah, I'm lost myself now. I'm losing the plot, I really am. So yeah, so I'm on this section here, I think. Yes, I am. I'm on this section here. I'm repeating this section. Oh my goodness. Then I am on this section, which I am glad I will be reducing for that section, because that felt like hard work, and it's not a very wide section to be working on. So yeah, so I've just got 1, 2, 3 sections left to do. This one's going to work up incredibly quickly because it is mostly garter stitch. And as I'm reducing, it's going to get faster and faster. I could even get that done in a couple of mornings. So this is the knitting that I am working on first thing in the morning, half an hour. So I have that much left of the colour I'm on. I'm hoping it will get me to the end of this section that I'm on. I'm not feeling very optimistic, but I'm hoping. I am hoping. So that goes in there. So that's all my knitting projects. So some socks and that. There would have been progress on my tree skirt if I hadn't been so foggy. So this is another project that did suffer because of my busyness with birthdays and then not feeling very well. This is my Faith crochet blanket designed by Helen Shrimpton. This is last year's Stylecraft. Oh, I've got balls of yarn going everywhere. This is last year's Stylecraft crochet along, designed by Helen Shrimpton. So I've got 2 balls of yarn attached to this moment. So praying that I've got a stitch marker in at the, yes I have. Let's bring it up. So this is where I am. It's getting rather large and I haven't got a clue what you're seeing because I'm peeking at you through holes in the mandala. Here it is. So I am almost at the end of part 6. I've got a few more rows of part 6 to go. So, and it's quite a complicated one, which is why I couldn't in all fairness. So it's these V's that are going. There's a lot of counting and everything involved, which does slow you down. I don't know about you, but when I'm crocheting, if I have to be thinking about numbers and patterns, it does take a little longer to do. Plus, we are looking at somewhere in the region of 900 stitches per round, which does take a little while. But with crochet, at least, I don't have to make sure I've got in that time to sit. I can just do a few stitches at a time if I needed to. I'm not sure when this will come back up on my work in progress wheel. I was hoping to get it done by the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't care. I'm loving it. I bought myself the kit for this particular colourway, and I bought the Naturals Bamboo and Cotton kit. This is beautiful yarn. I say it every time I bring this yarn out. It is beautiful, and I would love to make items of clothing to wear in this. It is a DK apparently, but it's very thin DK. So that is the thickness of the DK there. And if I compare that to, oh, here I've got some DK here. This DK, there is a definite size difference between them there. So that's, I wouldn't be able to use just any DK pattern. I would have to find something that is maybe designed specifically for this yarn, or I don't know, sport weight maybe. Could I use this for sport weight? Because sport weight isn't a weight that you can get hold of easily in the UK. Same as worsted weight. So that's always a bit of a hassle for us Brits when we're making patterns that are designed by people in the States, because obviously they have lots of worsted weight available to them, it seems, and lots of patterns are in worsted weight. But I'm really enjoying this blanket still. It is getting to the point where each round is tedious, because it is. Anything that's nearly 1,000 stitches is going to be tedious. I need to train myself to stop feeling that tedium when I'm working on something, because obviously I want to work on Garter Abyss, which is, I've heard around 1,000 stitches at cast off. So that will be an experience in itself. So I have moved this one into my Fly Lanka Air bag, which is a bag that was gifted to me by Attic Spin Dye, and it's just the right size to fit everything in. Including my notebook where I'm copying down the rows of the patterns. So I like to break it down into stages, especially when it's a detailed row, so that I can get that all nice and organised. So there's that project. Okay, this is going to be a really quick one because I'm on my last whip already. So the last few days I have been working on my piece of cake cow. So let's get my tablet. So I spoke about this, was it last episode or the episode before? So I've invested in a fire tablet that I'm only using for the purpose of magazines on the Readly app, because I don't know why, but that's just my thing. So I'm on the current part of the piece of cake cow. There it is, designed by Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts. We've got textures this month, and I have finished the 2 squares for pattern 1, and tonight I will be starting and hopefully getting close to finishing the patterns for the square 2. Now I'm a bit concerned actually, but so I followed the pattern. It's bubbles. Don't like bubbles. Bubbles and popcorns and puff stitches, and puff stitches is what's in the next square. I like the texture that they provide. I just don't like crocheting them. They're just, I don't know why. I really don't know why, because they look lovely. And it did say in the magazine that you could design. It gave you tips on how you could create your own pattern rather than just following the pattern that was in the magazine, which is just the stripes. But yes, so there's these 2. Now one thing I am concerned about is the top, the flat bit at the top seems to be narrower than at the bottom. Now I followed it exactly. It did say to finish with the 3 rows at the top. You watch, I'll pick the pattern up and look at it and I'll have read it wrong. But yes, so that is that one, and let's see if I can zoom in for the next. I don't know how well that will be showing, but there is the square that I'm working on next, which is called Puff Stitch Trellis, and there's only 21 rows, so depending on how much actual crochet I get to do tonight, I could get both squares done tonight, which will give me the next few days to work on my Winter Wonderland, which is the whip that I'm supposed to be working on, but because the pattern for this is available. So yes, so there's some cute patterns in here. I'm just seeing when the next issue is due out, because I can't remember. Oh gosh, sniffly nose. Inside Sugar and Spice, 10th of November. So in the next issue there's a few of the patterns that are in the next issue, so that might be interesting, although that stocking looks a bit basic. I've seen more interesting things. Also included in on the Readly app is the pattern supplement. Every year there is the Christmas Crochet from Toft supplement. Now it says here RRP $14.99. Now I would never pay that much for the particular booklet that comes with it. I don't feel that that would be what I would naturally go for. So I'm trying to think what it was I saw in here that I quite liked. On the beret, I quite like that beret. That bow is very nice. What else was there? I'm sure there was a couple. Oh, there's a little Christmas tree decoration. Those are cute. This one's not too bad, although it involves embroidering Christmas trees on. I'm not the best at embroidering stuff on stuff. And the blanket looks quite nice, though I don't know how quickly I would get bored with doing all of those squares the same. But yeah, so that's that. Oh, and there's also British bird baubles, which I thought were really, really cute, and I'd love to have a go at making those. They are really adorable, though they look really flat. When I first saw them, they almost looked like they'd been squished. But yes, so that's all of that. I've got so many patterns. The joy of the app is I've got some of the Australian magazines that are available, and some American magazines. I'm just loving experiencing all the others. As I've said before, I wish I was bilingual so that I could read and understand some of the other magazines that are out there for knitting and crochet, but unfortunately I can't understand the language, and I don't think I would give the patterns justice if I couldn't read them properly. But yeah, so that's it. It's a bit boring, isn't it? It's hopefully next time you see me in 2 weeks, I will have more to show you. I will definitely have my latest Alice in Wonderland and newest Beatrix Potter subscription to show you. But that'll be it. What else am I working on over the next couple of weeks? So I've already written down my plans for the next couple of weeks. So I have a diary, and I've gone through the diary and I've spun what days are for knitting, what days for crochet, and I've thrown in a few cross stitch days in as well. So, and then I've just sort of popped in what I'm supposed to work on. I don't always stick to this. Sometimes I get distracted. I see a small little pattern and think I can get that done in an evening or two, and I end up focusing on that for a few days. Or like with the tree skirt, I was supposed to be working on that. I did not have the headspace for it, so I just knit on some socks. So this is a rough sort of idea of what I think I'm going to be working on. I don't stick to the plan all the time rigidly, although I try to at least stick to, if it's a crochet day, I find something to crochet. If it's a knit day, I find something to knit, so that each craft has its fair share of time. So yes, I am on Winter Wonderland. Oh, some amigurumi next week as well. So I might actually get my friend's elephant finished. I haven't worked on amigurumi in ages. But yes, hopefully my tree skirt will get finished fairly soon. I don't know whether or not to try and throw in a couple of extra days. I'll try and get caught up with my Perseverance and my Hearthside stuff, and maybe try and put a row in the mornings while Simon's in the shower for my half an hour of knitting. But yeah, that's me. I'm sure this would have been a much shorter episode if I hadn't whittled on a little bit extra, but I shall leave it there and go get myself a drink and let Simon know that he's good to come back downstairs. He's hiding upstairs at the moment, waiting for me to message him and say I'm done. So I shall see you again in a couple of weeks with much more to show you, I hope. And I hope you have a fantastic time crafting, and I shall see you again soon. Bye.